So my name's Sam Grimsley. I'm currently about to be a senior in college. I go to Trinity in San Antonio, and I think my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in the fall of 2019. So I think that's the fall of my sophomore year, I'd say about 2 weeks before my final exam started. I was honestly I was both blindsided and not, because my family had known that my dad had some memory issues for a while. So we knew there was something going on, but I don't know. There was a long-term denial of it was Alzheimer's until it actually was. So I guess that kind of like my first question is like, I guess what happens now? Like he has Alzheimer's. So what does that mean? Like, how does that change our life? Like, is he still going to be able to drive? How long is he still going to be my dad? Like, when is he gonna not be able to remember me? Like, what's the time I'm looking at was kind of like my first question. And kind of my second question is like, what should I do? Like, what should I do differently? The thing that kind of stood out to me that is kind of like an age old just truth that just like don't believe everything you read on the internet or see in media, just because like whenever you like watch a TV show or movie and there's someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, it's always depicted as like, bam, it's like rapid onset, like 1 week they're fine and then the next week they're gone. Not universally true, but a lot of times it's more slow moving. It happens over time. And you don't forget people like immediately. You forget like more random things. And it's not like a very strict progression of. So I think like that it's kind of the biggest thing I wish I knew at the time, because I just didn't know how Alzheimer's worked. And I wish there were more easily accessible media or resources to help me learn about what the progression would look like and how my dad would change over time. I guess like kind of like the second thing I wish I knew, and this is more kind of like a general family thing. It's just like there's so much like legal, like healthcare, like financial things that go along with having Alzheimer's. And my mom kind of had to go through it just blind. She didn't know what was going on. And I kind of wished like I'd known more. I could have been able to help her. Like there just would have been more resources for her available, because like she basically had to teach herself like parts of disability law, parts of disability like financials. And it was really hard. And I think that like if we had known more about that at the time, a lot of things that troubled us in the future would have gone a lot easier. So I think what's helped me the most is kind of like reorienting my perspective. I think this is true for both my brother and I. I mean, we're brothers, we get along, but we fight our fair share, and like we're kind of we stand in opposition to each other a lot. So I think that what helped me the most is kind of like changing my position and how I approach my family. Like I try to be home a lot more. Part of why I like being in San Antonio, being at Trinity, is I'm only a few hours away. I can drive home. If there's a added emphasis on me on spending more time with my family, more holidays, coming home, calling my dad more, and just like trying to be more active and engaged with him, because it is true that he won't be a lot around forever. So I think just like valuing the time I have with him is really important and helps me a lot, because there's still parts of him that are great and wonderful. Like when we play trivia games, he beats everyone but me, even though he can't, even though he's probably forgot more than the rest of my family even knows about trivia. So I think that there's really parts that are, you just have to kind of grab on and hold on to the parts that are enjoyable and try to figure out how to process and rationalize the parts that aren't there anymore. It's that you need to kind of choose what you focus on. It's kind of like the old adage, like glass half full, glass half empty. So it's like you can either focus on that and you can see all the bad things, or you can kind of choose to like grab hold of and take advantage of what you can still do. Like my dad, he still loves going to the movies. So yesterday we went to Fast and Furious 9. He has some like audio processing issues, but bring earplugs. He can get through it fine. We enjoy the movie. Both of us enjoy movies. Or he enjoys watching TV shows. We watched the Loki series a lot together. Or he enjoyed just talking about sports, talking about news. We can do that a lot. And it doesn't require him to remember something from 15 years ago. It doesn't require him to have perfect memory. It just requires kind of like being in the moment, like knowing that it's not the same version of my dad that there was 10 years ago or 15 years or 20 years ago, but that's kind of true of all of us. Like people change, like no one's the same. And like he's changed in a different way than most people, but it's still enjoyable. And I still enjoy hanging out, having fun and being around my dad. And until there's a moment where I physically can't do that, I'll just choose to grab onto that moment, those moments, and enjoy them.